Her writer's workshop booked a beach suite. I checked in next door with the other woman. The lie arrived on the back of a seashell blue postcard. "So proud of you, Liv. See you at Harbor House." Someone had scrawled above a watercolor of a lighthouse that winked like it shared the secret. The postmark was 3 days old. The handwriting wasn't mine. On the kitchen counter, Olivia's travel mug left a damp ring beside the card, and her tote bag, patched, familiar, our years fraying at the edges, weighted with an overnight sweater tucked inside. She told me she was leading a writer's workshop downtown. She didn't say anything about the coast. I should have asked. Instead I said, "Need a ride?" And she kissed my cheek so swiftly my skin argued afterward about whether it had happened. "I'm fine," she said, breezy as late June. "It's just one night, be good." Be good. There are phrases that make you feel 9 years old and proud of it. There are phrases that make you check your phone every hour for a text that says, "Change of plans, home by 10." And when it doesn't come, you pour yourself water like it's wine and stare at the ceiling fan counting slow revolutions. At 11, a message pinged from a number I didn't know. The photo was nothing, just a blown-out mirror shot, a slant of light, a corner of white bedspread with a stitched navy border. But the caption stopped the room in its tracks. "Do you know this place too? Harbor House. I think our people are together." I stared at the screen until the letters swam. Before I could reply, another bubble appeared. "I'm sorry, I found your number in his car. He'd saved you as James Framing. I guess you build things. He's Julian, I'm Rhea. I think he's with Olivia." I typed too quickly, "Who are you?" She explained in pieces, like someone choosing stones to skip instead of throwing them all at once. She and Julian had been together a year. He said he had a late design consult at a coastal property, but she'd watched him pack the shirt he only wore when he wanted to be noticed in photographs. The receipt in his glove box, her hands shook when she wrote this, said Suite 6, Harbor House Inn. Olivia's postcard sat beside my elbow, winking harder. Rhea asked if I wanted to talk. I surprised myself by hitting call. Her voice had grit, the kind that comes from crying but not giving in to it. "I know this is insane," she said. I didn't want to be alone, knowing, not knowing." "When did they meet?" I asked, though I already knew the answer had nothing to do with dates. Betrayal is a season. "At the gallery opening last month," she said. "He said she was brilliant about light, and I thought it meant he liked her mind." A rough laugh. "I hate how stupid that sounds." It didn't sound stupid. It sounded like love the way we're taught it should be, curious, generous. And how love too often turns out, curious, generous, and blind in the exact wrong place. "Maybe we're wrong," I said, "because hope is a muscle that doesn't quit until you tell it to." "Maybe," she said, "but if we are, we'll just come home with a dumb story about a lighthouse. And if we're not," her breath snagged, "then we'll at least have looked each other in the eye while the floor gave way." By midnight we were on the same highway, 2 cars counting down the green signs like rosary beads. I drove with the windows cracked, brine riding the air even this far inland. I tried not to imagine Olivia's neck bent to a stranger's laugh. I tried not to imagine what I would say if the door opened, and the scene inside matched the ache in my chest. The road offered no answers. It offered the glow of tail lights and a horizon line that kept being a promise and not a place. Rhea beat me there by 10 minutes and waited out front. I wouldn't have noticed her if she hadn't stepped into the cone of the porch light. She had a coat thrown over a sleep shirt and bare legs, and there was something so uncompromising about the way she hugged her own ribs that I felt warmer for seeing it. Her hair was knotted like she'd given up halfway. Her mouth was a brave line that didn't want me to know it shook. "You're James," she said. And you're Rhea. The name sounded strange out loud, like new coins I wasn't sure I should spend. We didn't shake hands. We stood with the boards creaking under us and watched drunk laughter wander down from the bistro. Harbor House crouched on the bluff like a cat that knew it was beautiful. The inn's windows were dark except for two squares on the second floor. One of them leaked a pale gold spill, and every so often a shadow crossed it, torso tall and unmistakably human. Rhea was the first to move. "I booked room 5, she said. "Next door. They won't notice us in the hall if we time it between the elevator and the ice machine. It's pathetic how easily I thought that through." "It's not pathetic," I said. "It's competent." "I was hopping for magic," she said, with a half-smile that made me want to learn every expression it could become. The innkeeper was the kind who can keep a secret if you meet her in the secret. A woman with a reader's patience and the memory of strangers' crises catalogued under heads I've seen first at midnight. She gave us the key with a shrug and a "let me know if you need extra blankets," and somehow I didn't feel judged. The hallway smelled like lemon oil and Tide. We counted door numbers 2, 3, 4, and then the world narrowed to 6, the brass numerals tilted from too many hands reaching with both certainty and haste. Soft music seeped from inside. Rhea's eyes found mine, grounded and flammable all at once. "Not yet," I mouthed. "Not yet," she agreed. In our room, we didn't turn on the overhead. The bedside lamp made an island of honey light. Rhea dropped her coat on the armchair and stood there in that sleep shirt like honesty didn't have to be ugly. She caught me looking and didn't flinch. "I packed without thinking," she said. "I could pretend I wore this for strategy, but I didn't." "You look like you came to win a fight and accidentally walked into a summer," I said, and then wondered who I was, paying that kind of attention to the right thing at the wrong time. The wall between rooms was thicker than I feared and thinner than I hoped. We could make out voices, not words. Olivia's laugh traveled anyway. I'd know it in a storm. Rhea folded onto the foot of the bed and tucked her legs beneath her, knees like parentheses around what she couldn't say. "I always thought I'd shout," she said quietly. "I thought I'd slam a door, say a line that would make him feel small for years and march away. But I don't want to perform. I want to understand where I end." She wasn't crying. Neither was I. We were two people listening to the ocean and the ghost of a song. The clock on the nightstand pretended to matter. It didn't. "Do you remember when you first knew you loved her?" Rhea asked, startling me with the gentleness of it. "Yes," I said, because the first knowing is a lighthouse too. She was roasting tomatoes. She forgot the timer, and smoke curled up like a bad omen, and she made it a good one by laughing at herself and opening the windows. I thought, here is someone who can make mistakes breathable. "And now?" she asked. "Now I'm wondering, when breathing became the thing she does best in someone else's air." We both winced at the clarity of it. The wall made a muffled thump, and a glass rolled against wood on the other side. Rhea flinched. I reached out without thinking and touched her hand, just that, a palm to a palm, two people reminding each other we were made of warmth too. "Sorry," I said. "Don't be." She turned her palm so our fingers found something like a braid. The contact wasn't a plan. It was a life raft. We lay back on top of the covers like kids who fell asleep at a party. The lamp hummed. The ocean talked in its sleep. From the next room, a hush that could have been laughter in a throat or a sigh in a pillow leaked through the outlet. Rhea's thumb drew a slow, thoughtless circle on my wrist that made my pulse remind me it was there for more than damage control. "I don't want to be their consequence," she said. "I don't want whatever we decide to be a mirror they have to look into to see themselves." "I don't either," I said. I want to choose something that isn't about them at all. Ria turned her head toward me. Up close, her eyes held a green you only see in water you trust your body to. Then let's promise to be kind to the parts of ourselves that still wanted to be wrong, she said. And let's not do anything tonight that feels like proof instead of truth. The difference lodged inside me like a beam settling true. Proof is a photograph you show other people. Truth is the way your chest unlocks. We didn't kiss then. We let the moment be a full glass on a flat table. We breathed. We listened to what the wall wanted to be and what we refused to make it. Around 2, the music next door silenced. Pipes sighed. Water ran. A door opened and closed. Quiet cinched the hallway like a belt. Ria sat up and gathered her hair. I'm going to leave a note on their door, she said. Not a scene, just a sentence that says, we know and we're not waiting here anymore. I don't want to be here when they wake up and try to invent a vocabulary for what we already understood. She wrote it on the back of a Harbor House breakfast menu in neat, teacherly print. I followed her into the hall. The carpet bit our bare feet as if to say, remember. She taped the note under the brass 6 with a strip of borrowed painter's tape from my truck. Funny, the things you carry that turn into exactly the thing you need. Then she looked at me as if to check I was still choosing with her. We walked outside. The night was the kind of black that isn't empty. It's full of every color your eyes can't name yet. We found the steps down to the beach and sat with our backs against a dune, the inn a warm square above us, the ocean reconsidering its borders like always. Our shoulders touched. Her thigh found mine and stayed, not a dare but the right answer to the question of where to put your weight. Can I be honest? She asked. Please. I'm thinking about kissing you, she said, not coy, just exact. Not because of them, because looking at the water with you makes my body feel like it remembers something good. I'm thinking about it too, I said, and the admission felt like a key turned in a lock that imagined it would stay stuck forever. She leaned in. The kiss was soft, careful, not an argument with anything. It was daylight in the dark. It was the nape of a neck and the curve of a cheek and a breath shared like a secret you intend to keep. When we stopped, it was because stopping made the kiss a place we could visit again, not a place we raided. We sat with our foreheads close and let the wind edit us. She tucked herself into my side and traced the seam of my sleeve with a fingertip. The caress felt like a road we could take without getting lost. The ocean threw a sheet over the day and told it to sleep. We didn't go back upstairs. We found coffee at a place that opened too early because fishermen deserve it, and we warmed our hands on paper cups while the sky worked out what kind of blue it wanted to be. We laughed about nothing. Seagulls that looked like attorneys, a kid with 2 different shoes, my truck that groaned like an old dog when I turned the wheel too hard. In the space between jokes, the ache didn't go away, but it stopped insisting on being the only important thing. At 7, my phone vibrated. A text from Olivia blinked. Where are you? Can we talk? I typed at the coast. I think you know why. Come outside if you want to meet me where I am. We stood at the edge of the parking lot with the world salted and bright. Olivia appeared at the top of the steps with her sweater zipped halfway and the kind of careful hair that tries to square the bill in the morning. She saw me and stopped. She saw Ria and flinched. Ria didn't move. I didn't either. I'm not going to fight, I said when Olivia reached us. I'm not going to ask you to explain the ocean to a man who's standing ankle deep in it. I know where we are. I don't know where we go. Olivia's mouth trembled. I messed up, she said, trite and true. I don't even know what I wanted. I wanted to feel like I had more than one future. She looked at Ria. I'm sorry, she added, and to her credit it didn't sound like she was reading from a cue card. Ria nodded once, small and regal. "I don't need your apology today," she said. "I need mine to myself for pretending not to see. I'll handle that." We didn't unpack history in the parking lot. We didn't barter. I told Olivia I'd come by later for my things and we'd find a therapist or a lawyer or both, and we'd be decent where we could and quiet where we couldn't. It was surprisingly uncinematic. It felt like sanding, slow, steady, a roughness giving way to something that wouldn't catch. When Olivia left, Ria let out a breath that seemed too big for her body. "If we were worse people," she said, "this would be easier." "I don't want easy," I said. "I want honest." We stayed another hour because the coffee tasted better near the sea and because neither of us wanted the night to become a story too quickly. We didn't make plans, not permanent ones. We traded numbers like adults who knew exactly how many things a number could be. We hugged, the kind of hug you give when thank you isn't a big enough container. When she pulled back, she pressed a kiss to my cheek that felt like a seal, not a stamp. "Let today be small," she said softly. "Let tomorrow decide how big it wants to be." Driving home, the highway looked different. It wasn't friendlier. It was accurately measured. My hands on the wheel remembered holding hers and found the posture that meant I wasn't gripping, just guiding. I thought about the moment on the dune, about the difference between proof and truth, about how a kiss can be both a beginning and a promise not to rush. Later, there were hard talks and a guest room at my friend's place that smelled like laundry and courage. There were papers to sign and silences to respect. There were messages from Ria, photos of ordinary things, a mango with a perfect bruise, her sneakers after rain, a book with a sentence underlined so faintly I had to squint to see it. We took walks with no destination and learned the skill of not narrating every bruise. When we kissed again, it was because the day asked for it, not because the night demanded it. And when we didn't, it wasn't a failure. It was a choice that kept making room. I don't know if this is a love story or the prologue to one. I know I'm a man who stood outside a door and decided not to knock. I know I held another betrayed person's hand in a pretty room and didn't mistake pain for permission. I know that sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't crashing in. It's stepping back, letting the tide wash the footprints clean, and then choosing carefully, step by step, where to leave the next ones.